Liam's my name, flavour bombing is my game. I've been a chef for 10 years. I'm all about maximising the flavour. From cheese on toast to fresh crab, everything has the potential to taste amazing. Shopping wise and understanding flavour combinations. I shop local, but I definitely think global. Hello, baked bean time. Yes, I am that guy that's going to make my own beans. I'm going to show you how to do it as well. Why? Because they're amazing. Smoked paprika, chorizo, a little bit of pepper. We're actually going to just put the pepper in whole. Bit of celery, bit of carrot, a little bit of onion, and then we've got a couple of beans. So baked beans are traditionally made with haricot beans, which is what your standard everyday baked bean is, but we're going to jazz it up a little bit. We're going to use butter beans, haricot beans and cannelloni beans. The reason why we're going to make our own baked beans today is, as you'll know, baked beans are a bit overly sickly sweet. There's no need for them to be that sweet. These are amazing. Check this out. So the first stage is you're going to get yourself a good bit of chorizo, which is a Spanish sausage, flavoured with paprika. You can get spicy ones, you can get normal ones, but this is a normal one. And all we're going to do is we're actually going to add the chilli to it. So chop up. Doesn't have to be perfect, chunky is good. You can also get chorizo sliced, but you'll find that the better value for money one is the link sausage, because it's obviously priced on weight. And you're paying for the guy to slice it. I'm a fan of cast iron pans because they retain the heat better, they cook better, and they basically look badass. So a bit of olive oil. Chuck your chorizo in. You want the flavours just to start oozing into that oil, and that's the same oil that's going to penetrate your beans and just flavour bomb your dish. Everybody should have smoked paprika in your kitchen. Might be a little bit expensive at the time, £3, but you're going to have it for a couple of weeks at least. If you're me, a week maybe. I'm actually going to cut this chilli at the top and chuck the whole thing in, because we're not looking for an overly spicy dish. Celery, carrot and onion. You find that these veg are called the Holy Trinity of cooking. Different cultures in different places around the world use a different trinity, but normally for like French style or European style you would use celery, onion and carrot. For example, New Orleans style you would substitute that carrot for bell pepper. Something I think everyone should be aware of, how close all these cuisines are to each other. People don't realise they're so close to knowing another thing. Substitute one thing out, substitute one thing in, you've got another dish almost. Check that out. So you want to let this cook down for a minute, because remember your beans are already cooked. Butter beans, haricot beans and cannelloni beans. Got a wee secret ingredient here, a bit of brown sauce, just a tablespoon. Brown sauce is adding a sort of like a vinegar element to this dish. You'll find that anything acidic adds a different flavour, sort of a combination to a dish, and I think anything, whether it's even a sweet thing or a savoury thing, a touch of acidity can elevate a dish. Let's jazz this bad boy up, and that's what the brown sauce is going to do. Look at all those flavours in the bottom of the pan, see they're all sticking. That's why a cast iron pan's amazing. They're not going to go to waste. Once we add our tomato, you find it will pick up all of it. I'm going to add these beans. I'm going to use these baked beans later on for a Glasgow Classic, a cheesy Beano. Which, if you don't know what a cheesy Beano is, it's basically toast, cheese and beans. But when you make your own beans and you use amazing cheese, you've turned a very common, cheap dish into a belter. Tomatoes. I'm going to use a little bit of fresh herbs here. Just going to go and pick my basil. Get the chop. Just going to let this cook down. We're not wanting it too saucy, we're just wanting all the flavours of the chorizo to penetrate and get those carrots and the onions cooked. As soon as that carrot's cooked, take about 10 minutes. If you're a mere mortal, I would maybe use a dish towel, but I'm not. So the beans have been in the oven now for 20 minutes and I'm pretty sure they're ready to go. Let me check them out. Remember when you're using your cast iron pans that they are smoking hot. I'm a great believer, and if you're going to make something simple, you make it the best as you can. For example, the cheesy beanos is in essence beans, toast and cheese, but we're making toasted bread with a little bit of garlic. We've made our own beans and we've got a really nice smoked cheese from Scotland. So the griddle's on. You don't oil the griddle, you oil the product. So we're going to just stick a little bit of oil on this. And you're looking for that sort of sizzle. So as you know, we've got a massive bowl of beans here. We're not going to use them all, we're going to save some for later. We're going to have a wee look out for that chilli that I put in. So we're going to take a bit of the beans for this dish. They're absolutely smoking hot. You can tell there's a nice shine to them. They look a lot fresher than your standard beans in a tin. Now all we're going to do is get our garlic, cut it in half, give it a wee rub. And the good thing about the cast iron pans is there's so much heat in that, I can just turn it off now and that'll continue cooking. So you might think that we've flavour-bombed this dish enough with our smoked paprika, our chorizo, our chilli, our basil, but we've got a few other tricks. So our beans are ready. We've got a really nice smoked cheese here. I've already pre-grated it. Just going to mix it in. The trick to the perfect cheesy beano is to not let the cheese melt 100%. You want it to be melting as you take it to the table. So we'll get your plate ready. There's a few more flavour bombs that are going to enhance this dish, just to take it up to another level. Capers, just put it about your plate. There's no need to be fancy, you can chuck it in if you want, but I like being fancy. Then we're going to take a really good balsamic vinegar. Now we're going to mix the beans. Wee trick, bit at the bottom, bit in the middle, bit on top. And there you go, that is my Glasgow Classic cheesy beano.